Do you get angry in your parenting? Well, if you do, you are not alone. In fact, I come from being a really angry mom. I kind of identify myself as a former angry mom. Before I understood what was really going on with me and my kids, I used to yell all the time and I would get so angry at them when I'd ask them to do things and I'd have to repeat myself over and over and over again, only to get mad and then they would listen. And that made me feel so much resentment and frustration. And I didn't understand why I needed to use my mommy voice to just get them to hustle in the morning or get them to bed or stop them from fighting. And in fact, I was so angry so much of the time that it stopped me from being the mom that I always thought I would be. And so I want to tell you that anger can actually be your greatest gift and your greatest teacher. And I'm going to show you exactly how to take your anger and transform it into something amazing. For strategies and parenting tools to help you be more calm, less angry, and to understand what your child's behavior is really telling you so that you can solve it more efficiently, please do hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I upload a new weekly video. And if you have something that you want me to talk about, a subject that you want me to tackle and explain and walk you through, please email me at admin@parentingforconnection.com and I'll do my best to create a video that is exactly what you want to hear. And we'll talk about it over email. It goes directly to me. I can't wait to hear from you. When I'm first working with my clients, one of the first things we do is we talk about anger. And I ask them, okay, so when you're mad or angry, if you couldn't use the word mad or angry, what word would you use instead? What emotion would you replace it with? And often I'm met with confused looks and not sure what to say instead. And that really speaks to the fact that we weren't really brought up with a large vocabulary of feelings and needs. And so I love to show them the anger iceberg. And what the iceberg shows us is that what's at the surface, what's shown is anger. But below the surface is all of those different feelings swarming around underneath. And you can see that actually it's those emotions below the surface that are creating the anger. And anger is often more than just one emotion. It's sometimes many together, like feeling trapped or helpless or embarrassed. And when you really look at anger, you can really kind of boil it down to three main emotions, which is fear, frustration, and hurt. So let me ask you, what would you use instead of the word angry or mad? Put it in the comments below. Tell me what you're feeling instead. If you couldn't use the word angry, if you couldn't use the word mad, what would you use instead? I want to hear it. I want to know. And this is a no judgment zone. If you're feeling helpless, if you are feeling offended, insecure, envious, whatever it is, put it down. There's no criticism here. And it is important for us to shed a light on the dark parts of us because that's how we learn and how we grow. And that's part of how we can take our anger and transform it into a gift. And really, there is a mechanism in our brain. And I talk about the brain all the time. And I talk about this too, that when we name it, it is taming it. The mechanism in our brain, actually, when we name it, it releases soothing neurotransmitters to the part of our brain that's activated, the amygdala, to allow us to calm down. And you'll notice that if you're ever feeling something that you can't quite put your finger on, and then you say, oh, that's what it is, right? You figure it out. Maybe it's scared. Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling scared. And that's when those soothing neurotransmitters are released. It's like, yes, yes, that's what it is. And knowing it, naming it really does help you to calm down. So, why is it that you can face a situation and sometimes it makes you really angry and sometimes it's not such a big deal? Let's talk about why you really get angry. And there is actually something that impacts all of us that we might not realize. So, I want to use an example to illustrate this point that anger really, as powerful as it is, doesn't necessarily have as much to do with the situation that you're facing as it does with how vulnerable you're feeling. So let's say you come home from a day at work and you open the door and you see your child's backpack in the way as you open the door. You almost trip and fall over it, and you are immediately angry. And you say things to yourself like, you know better. What the heck is this doing here? Why didn't you put your backpack away? You know that it doesn't just get dropped here right at the door. You goes and it has to be hung up by the hook, and you have to take out your lunchbox and go into the kitchen and undo your lunchbox and all the things, right? You get really angry, and then you go to your child and you yell at your child and you say, why did you leave your backpack where you left it? I almost broke my neck. How can you be so inconsiderate? How can you not care about anybody else in this family? And instead, all you do is think about yourself and you don't even care. Pretty normal scenario would happen, right? Especially if you've had a rough day already, especially if you're exhausted and maybe you had a run in with one of your clients or your boss, and you come home and you're already upset, and this is just the last straw and you lose it. Yeah, it makes sense. You're angry because things have been stacking up. And this, again, is like the last straw. But what happens if you come home after a great day and you are feeling really good about yourself? You had a fantastic day at work, traffic was really great. You feel good about yourself. You love how you look and feel today, and that backpack is there when you walk in, and maybe you almost trip over it too. But because you've had a good day, it doesn't really sting as hard. It doesn't hurt so bad. And it really is about and comes down to how vulnerable we're feeling in the moment. So that's what I'm trying to get to here is how vulnerable are you feeling in the moment that that situation happens? And remember, it's less about the situation than it is about you. So you are feeling great. And when you do feel great, the frustrations, the little insults and injustices of life really just roll off your back. And there's no need to go to your child and rip a strip off them and yell at them and shame them and tell them all the ways they did it wrong. Instead, what you're more likely to do is you're more likely to go to your child and say, whoa, dude, like I almost fell over your backpack. How come it was right there, right in the doorway for anyone, including me, to trip over? When you are feeling that way, you're able to create strategies and solutions together. In the first example, you were too angry to even ask if there was something going on. Maybe your child came home, had to pee really badly, went to dropped their backpack, went to the bathroom, and then forgot all about it because kids are kids. They forget things, right? And when we're in that place where we're feeling vulnerable and already upset and quicker to anger, we miss that opportunity. So, this is why it's so important for you to understand that a lot of this comes from anger is really powerful because it is the one emotion that engages every muscle and every organ in our body. Think about it. When you get mad, you may make a fist, you may clench your teeth, you may tighten your muscles, your heart starts to race a little bit, maybe your stomach churns a bit. It is so powerful. And maybe the reason you're feeling this way and you're feeling this vulnerable is because you aren't getting your needs met. Maybe that's part of the problem. And so, what I want you to know is that there's no shame in getting angry. I want you to think of it as your teacher, as your wake up call that something about your life or today or the situation is off. And we can go and get our needs met, and we can go and fix what's going on with us so that we can show up and be the parents that we really want to be. And so we need to take a moment to look at what our core needs are. So let's do that. When it comes to your needs, there are four main areas. By four, I mean five. And you can have your needs met or not met at any given time. And one of the things that fuels that vulnerability and fuels our anger is that we will have unmet needs. Then we add on feelings about the fact that we have unmet needs. And now we have unmet needs, unvalidated feelings. And those are what swarms around beneath the surface that is like a volcano ready to explode. And it usually explodes all over your family, the people who you love the most, right? So I want you to listen in to these four different areas of needs. And I want you to make a note of where you are and aren't getting your needs met. So first is your personal needs. And those are your needs for exercise, sleep, and self care. Maybe it's nap. Maybe it is spiritual or intellectual, or it is about your physical health, mental health. Those are your personal needs. Then we have needs for community, and these needs are all about connection with friends and family, with your partner. They're all about date nights and having time with with your community of, maybe you've got a community of moms, of women that you love to be with. This is what this need is all about. We are wired for connection. That's what Brene Brown always says. And it's so true that we need to be with each other for lots of reasons. One is because that way we feel less alone. To have people who we can trust and confide in and share with is so important, and it makes us feel better. Another need that we have is a need for appreciation, to be acknowledged for who we are and what we do and the efforts that we put forth. We have to have this need met to be recognized. And again, this is a big one because if we aren't appreciated, then we have feelings about the fact that we aren't appreciated. And that really is what can start us down the path to feeling really unhappy, unsettled, and disconnected. And if this need isn't getting met for you, then I invite you to talk to your partner and let them know that you are needing this in your life. And appreciation can be done in many different ways. There's the five love languages. You can ask for it in the way that you need it the most. Maybe it's support. Maybe it's words of affirmation. When I want to appreciate my husband, the thing that makes him the happiest, which is silly, I know, but is me cleaning the kitchen island. If I can make the kitchen island very clean, he is so happy. That's just what he loves. For me, I need something completely different, but for him, that's what I'll do. And it's important that we appreciate each other and that you're also giving your spouse appreciation for the things that they do. And the reason this is important is because what we pay attention to grows. And so when we pay attention to the good things, the positive things, the things that are working, those are the things that take over our attention. So that's really a mindset trick. Next is support. We all need support, and we need it in all different ways. Support to help us with our mental health, support to help us with all the things that we have to do. Don't be afraid to ask another parent to take your child to their practice or bring them home. It's okay to say no to things too. It's okay. And here's the thing, most of us are burnt out. Most of us feel overwhelmed. And we really need to put our hand up and say, you know what? I am really struggling right now, and I do need some help and support. And you can get creative in how you do that. You can invite someone in to help you care for your kids. You can trade with somebody who can help you. You can trade off errands with somebody else. Maybe someone's going to the grocery store and you just ask them to pick you up a couple of things and you can e-transfer them the money. Right? Let's use each other more. It does take a village to raise our kids, and getting back to that and thinking of creative ways to get support really does help us. And I spoke about this in another video about burnout. about how the less that we can show and perpetrate this facade of perfectionism, like we've got to be perfect in everything. We've got to be great at work. We've got to be great with our kids. We've got to be great with our spouse. We have to be exercising and eating healthy all the time until we lose it. Well, how about we aren't perfect all the time? How about we say, yeah, no, I totally forgot that. I totally failed. And that's okay because you are human. And to remind you that to fail, to make mistakes, to do something wrong and just mess up is a shared human experience. It is a shared human experience. We all do it. You're not alone. You're not alone. So if you need support, you need to go and get it. And so, what areas do you need support in? And another thing is grace. We have got to have grace for ourselves. We've got to go easy on ourselves. Are you doing the best you can? Yes, I know you're doing the best you can. You can say that. I am always doing the best that I can. And sometimes my best might not look great, but it is always the best that I can. And so I need to give myself grace. If making mistakes and failing and coming up short is a shared human experience, then why am I beating myself up for it? You've got to give yourself grace. You've got to give yourself permission to make a mistake and to not do things right, to order cupcakes from the grocery store and bring them to your kid's birthday party at school. It's all okay. What's important is you being okay. Your kids don't care about those things. It's us that care about them. And it's our fear of being judged, of feeling like we're not good enough that gets in the way. And we need to have grace for ourselves, but we also need to have grace for each other and know that sometimes people put up walls and that's why they feel unapproachable. And oftentimes, those are the people who are the most vulnerable, who are struggling the most. So, what needs for you are not getting met? What are they? You have got your need for personal needs, community needs, appreciation, support, and grace. What needs aren't getting met? Celebrate the needs that are getting met. Good for you. Whatever needs are, that's fantastic. And what needs do you have that still need getting met? Pause this video and make a list of what isn't getting met for you and use this as your wake up call to get those needs met. What do you need to do? What needs to be put into place in order for you to get those needs met? You know, I say this sometimes to the clients that I work with. I'll say, would you drop your kids off to a caregiver who was easily triggered, who doesn't take care of themselves, and who doesn't even enjoy being with their kids? Would you? Probably not, right? So, why is it okay for you to have that as your standard for yourself? It's not okay. It's not okay because it robs you of joy. It robs you of being in this moment. It robs you of connection, of feeling confident in your parenting. It takes too much. So don't let that be you. So go and get those needs met. And here's one thing that I really want you to hear. When we get angry in our parenting and we blow up and we lose it, we eventually usually feel bad about it, right? Oftentimes we'll feel justified in the moment, but later on we'll say, oh man, I wish I didn't yell. Promise myself I wasn't going to yell anymore. And then you go back to your child and you go back and you want to make a repair. And you say, look, I am so sorry. I got so mad. I said some things and I shouldn't have said them. And I really wish that I hadn't have said them. And the problem with that, I'll say the problem with that is that now it becomes about your behavior. The situation that led you to be frustrated, hurt, or fearful has now turned into being about you and your actions and your reactions instead of what your child did and should have done instead. So, in other words, we're focusing now on you and your behavior instead of teaching your child. And so, in order to really convince you to do this work, I want to leave you on that note. because it is important. And the more that you can unravel your anger and what's going on with you, the easier you are going to find parenting and the easier it's going to be for you to stay calm and connected with your kids. So here is what you're going to do next. You are going to look in the description below and you are going to find the link to book a call with me. And we are going to talk about this area of your parenting or other areas within your parenting where you need some support. I provide these free calls that are in a space of non-judgment and zero criticism because I know what it's like to feel like you're failing as a parent. And I can tell you you're not. And if you are feeling that way, there is hope for you. And the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to check out this video. This is all about burnout. And even if you aren't burnt out, you want to follow these strategies because they will absolutely help you to be less burnt out and more resilient. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell to be notified as well, and make sure you comment below. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the kind of parent who cares enough to want to do this differently. Bye for now.